With the release of the 4th season of The Crown on November 15th, the cast is finally opening up about how they get into character to give an accurate and entertaining portrayal of members of the royal family. We're going to see what 2 of The Crown's biggest stars have to say about appearing on the critically acclaimed program. We're also going to take a closer look at the immensely popular Netflix original series and see what the buzz is all about and what it was like to be a part of its production. So make sure you watch the whole video to catch all the behind-the-scenes secrets. The Prince and Princess of Wales. Emma Corrin and Josh O'Connor recently went on the Graham Norton show and discussed what it's been like playing Princess Diana and Prince Charles. Norton pressed the 2 young actors to reveal some of the shortcuts they used while getting into their roles. O'Connor replied, acknowledging he didn't obsess with every little minute detail about the prince when researching his role. But there was one thing in particular he picked up on from watching countless videos of Prince Charles getting out of vehicles that he felt like he needed to incorporate in his performance. He notes that every time he steps out of a car, he'll check both of his cufflinks, pat his pocket square to make sure it's still there, smile, and then wave to the public. Norton further pointed out that the aging prince speaks in a very distinct manner, and asked O'Connor if it was difficult to not just try to do an impression of him. O'Connor replied by acknowledging that so much of The Crown is about impressions and impersonation, but he tries to take it a step further by showing the audience that he has a keen understanding of Charles's persona beyond just the superficial. Norton then turned his attention to Corrin, who bears a noteworthy resemblance to the royal she was cast to play. He asked her what it was like to play the reluctant, complicated, and troubled Princess Diana. Corrin replied by focusing on Diana's manner of speech. She noted that her speech pattern consistently had her going down in inflection at the end of every sentence. She noted that no matter what she was talking about, even if she had just finished having the best time ever, she would always sound somewhat sad when discussing it. The actual Queen is a fan of the show. So it's almost impossible to actually verify this claim, but an anonymous source close to the royal family informed the Daily Express in 2017 that the Queen really enjoys watching The Crown. These sentiments were repeated in 2018 when an insider told In Touch magazine that the show makes the Queen feel nostalgic, and she enjoys seeing how she's portrayed in the series. The Crown is one of the most expensive shows ever made. It's been reported that production costs for the first season of The Crown exceeded $130 million. That makes it the second most expensive TV show of all time. The number 1 position goes to Game of Thrones, which reportedly cost $15 million per episode to produce. Granted, it makes sense that a show about royalty is going to come with a hefty price tag. Between the lavish filming locales, the magnificent wardrobes, and paying the talented cast's salaries, that all starts to add up. The creator of the show worked on other royalty-themed productions. Peter Morgan is fixated on the royal family. He had previously worked on the highly acclaimed film The Queen, which was released in 2006. Additionally, he's penned a play entitled The Audience, which is also about Queen Elizabeth II. That play actually served as the inspiration for The Crown, and it's what caught Netflix's attention in the first place. Some of Morgan's other credits include 2018's Bohemian Rhapsody, 2008's Frost's Nixon, and 2006's The Last King of Scotland. The Crown originally cast only one American as a Brit. John Lithgow played Winston Churchill in the first 2 seasons of The Crown. But generally speaking, producers of the show have tried to keep the cast predominantly British. Of course, Americans like Michael C. Hall are called in to play American characters like John F. Kennedy. But true-to-life casting has always been a priority for Peter Morgan and his team. In reality, the Queen was never opposed to her sister's marriage to Peter Townsend. Despite what you might think watching all the drama that unfolded in the show, the Queen was never in fact in opposition to her sister, Princess Margaret, marrying Peter Townsend. If you dig into the records, you'll find the Queen actually worked particularly hard with the Prime Minister of the UK at the time, Sir Anthony Eden, to come up with a plan so that her sister could still keep her royal title and allowance as long as she agreed to rescind her claim to the throne. In the end, all this effort was moot, as Margaret never went through with the marriage. Quick side note, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell icon to turn notifications on so you can keep up with all our latest content. And make sure you keep watching to see how the coronavirus pandemic has affected production of The Crown and why Peter Morgan insisted upon including Princess Diana's struggle with bulimia in the most recent season of the series. Prince Philip never had a problem kneeling to Queen Elizabeth II. Even though The Crown paints a slightly different picture, Prince Philip never expressed being uncomfortable or having animosity towards kneeling to his wife while out in public. After all, he too is a royal and knows full well that kneeling is a respectful and expected act to do out of respect for a monarch, and that no one is excluded from the expectation to kneel before them, not even a spouse. Claire Foy auditioned for The Crown while she was pregnant. She had just given birth to her daughter Ivy when filming of the series commenced. She's pretty open about discussing how she breastfed her child while on set. It must have been difficult to adjust to being a new mom while simultaneously playing Queen Elizabeth II. Not every cast member is obsessed with the royal family. For example, Tobias Menzies, aka Prince Philip, in seasons 3 and 4, really didn't have any interest in the royal family before signing on with the show. After being cast as the prince, however, he took an interest in the character he was hired on to play. He told the Radio Times in 2018 that despite not knowing anything about him before being cast on The Crown, he thinks Philip is a pretty interesting man with a lot of complexity, and he's developed a deep respect for him because of that newfound knowledge. Foy had to wear a corset for season 1. Since she just had a baby, she had to wear a corset to fit into the costumes that were designed for her. She was reportedly 5 sizes too big for the wardrobe, but they made it work anyway. The corset actually was to her benefit. It forced her not to slouch. Even after ditching the corset for the following season, she kept up the improved posture. It took wardrobe designers weeks to recreate Queen Elizabeth's wedding gown. The costume design in The Crown is one of the most intriguing and captivating aesthetic details of the series, but it's also one of the hardest things for the behind-the-scenes workers to get perfectly. The royal family's lavish wardrobe is notoriously difficult to replicate. Michelle Clapton, the lead costume designer, did an interview with Harper's in 2016 and confirmed it took about 4 weeks and quite a few refittings to get Queen Elizabeth's wedding dress just right. None of the scenes were actually filmed at Buckingham Palace. Researchers went on numerous tours and took a lot of pictures to try to capture the look and feel of the famed palace. Their intention wasn't to create an exact replica per se, but instead to capture the mood and feel of the palace. Filming on location was out of the question, and creating an exact copy of its interior was unnecessary, so long as what they created was believable. The coronavirus delayed production of season 4. Peter Morgan told Vanity Fair that COVID put a major kink in the gears of production for the most recent season. In the end, they had to work with what they had, and 2 weeks of filming had to be sacrificed to meet their deadline. Morgan just hopes audiences won't be able to notice what was left out. Peter Morgan insisted upon including Princess Diana's bulimia battle. Despite the potential to raise some controversy, Morgan thought it was necessary to depict Princess Di's battle with bulimia in the most recent season of the show. Including this struggle shows she was a person with immense complexity, with vulnerabilities and weaknesses just like everyone else. Diana wasn't afraid to wear her frailties on her sleeve, which is a stark contrast to the rest of the royal family. Claire Foy was paid far less than Matt Smith. In 2018, it was revealed Matt Smith, who played Prince Philip, was paid substantially more than Claire Foy, even though Foy played Queen Elizabeth II. The pay gap was explained away as being a result of Smith's greater fame when he signed on. He had already built quite the name for himself while starring in Doctor Who. Foy would go on to win a Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild Award, and an Emmy for her portrayal of the monarch. Left Bank Pictures publicly apologized for the pay disparity and reportedly offered to pay Foy back pay to make up for the issue. Foy, however, has since clarified that such a payment has never been made. Well, we're just about out of time. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning all the little behind-the-scenes secrets of The Crown. Season 4 premiered November 15th, and you can catch every episode streaming on Netflix. We'd love to hear your take on the series. Do you think The Crown does a good job at portraying the royal family, or do you find it leaves you wanting something more? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And before you move on to something else, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications so you can keep up to date with all of our latest videos.